Hello, everyone, and welcome to one of the two opening matches of the All Hands on Deck Community Nebulous Tournament. We are here on Bulwark Naval Yards as we see Team 1, consisting of Black Bat, Scrubbus, Duke of Stars, Flynn, who are part of Team 1-800 Got Hellbombed, take on Team 2, the Warden Navy, Drang, Reaver, Mr. Dapper, and Darien. Team 1, as always, is ANS. Team 2, OSP. We will watch them deploy here on this very interesting map. I think it was Puppy who made this map. Played on it a couple times. It's a very, very fun map. We'll see, it looks like ANS is mostly deploying, looks like they're deploying heavy E side. Got some cappers going for their natural, and it doesn't look like they have anything going D at the moment here. We'll have to see if that's actually what they're going to do. Oh, nope, there's one of the cappers for D-point. CIA, we can see the CIA tag, sorry, that is Flynn. It would appear that perhaps Flynn is potentially running the cap fleet. Yep, we can see a lot of their tags deployed around cap points. I'm going to assume that they are the ones running the caps. Team 2, the Warden Navy, despite being OSP, seemingly has less ships overall. Not sure if this is because they haven't deployed them yet, or if they simply brought less ships or have them in different formations. Oh. Looks like the teams are strategizing in their voice calls here. Trying to determine overall strategies. Definitely taking a bit longer to deploy than you would see in a normal pubs match. But this is a tournament match. It's all about coordination, teamwork, and having good strategies. And we shall see who has the better strategy in this match. The Warden Navy opting light on potentially the sea push. They have a couple ships here, but ANS just has so much assets at the top here between E and C. That will definitely be their strong side here. Looks like the Warden Navy is mostly scattered evenly across their deployment side. We will see how that shakes out for them. 40 seconds on the deployment timer as the Warden Navy is completely deployed. So yeah, they definitely have less overall tracks coming in than Hellbomb does. We get a nice zoom in of one of Flynn's. I'm assuming this is it's a gun range. Interesting. I assumed this was missiles, but no. We've got 250s and 120s on this thing. Interesting. All right. Before the match actually starts, let's take a look at what the teams brought. Black Bat brought 2 escort carriers, Primal Screech and Bongos. These are loaded with, looks like we've got some unguided bombs, some sand shot for undoubtedly coil gun tontos, and some torpedoes of various types, as well as S1 missiles. We have a fair mix of, we have some different types of tontos there, and 5 bombers in this one. I'm assuming these are relatively similar. Yep, we got some torpedo, same general loadout in this one. Some tontos and 5 bombers. Yep, so 10 bombers total, scattering of tontos of 2 different types. I'm assuming coil guns and the 20mm. Duke here bringing the voxels. We have 2 gun voxels with some S3 missiles on the back. Parallax radar in these. Is the parallax in the other one too? Yep, double parallax. We got the radar whiplash drive setup, fairly standard, and we have some jamming escorts with these things too. S2 launcher probably full of SDMs, and I'm assuming, some size 2 hybrids too. Interesting. We'll see how those work. And we have a cringe capper. Look at this beautiful thing. Very cheap, very fast, able to get on the caps really quickly, and it's no big deal if it dies because it's cheap. Flynn opting for the cap fleet. We have a beamstone here. Good goalie device, 2 FPAs, fairly standard. And we have these gun rains. I think this is the fleet Flynn was showing me on stream the other day. They have these ships in formation, one of them bringing point defense and the other one bringing guns, and they fly in formation and hunt down lighter cap assets with the firepower of the gun rains. And the point defense one escorts the gun one and keeps it protected. And then we also have a couple of Elent 120 cap ships here. And 2 cringe cappers are immediately diving for the sea point. And then last, rounding out the Hellbomb's fleet, we have Scrubbus with the double Axford. Parallax, pretty standard build. Is the other one Spyglass, or is it also Parallax? The other one is Spyglass. Is it track correlated? It is not track correlated. Okay. Still fine, though. The Spyglass definitely helps detect targets at range. They are running... Oh, these are the triple raiders. These are, I believe Herman came up with these. Triple Raider drives on a Axford allow you to orbit dodge at insane ranges. Crazy maneuverability in these heavy cruisers. It'll be very interesting to see how OSP deals with that. Speaking of OSP, starting up with Darien here, we have, looks like a mass driver line ship, 2 mass driver line ships with some fighter hangars on the background. Drang realizing that this map does indeed have custom voice lines from Vastal whenever caps get capped. Very funny. We are not actually hearing that in spectator view. Interesting. I'm not sure why we're not, but it's like fairly standard. Lots of gun plotting centers in these. Plant controls to keep the mass drivers powered. Already launching a lot of, I'm assuming these are Elent Designator, yep, Elent Designator pikes. Got a lot of these out. Able to spot enemy ships at range and provide visual sensor locks to identify what they're dealing with. Drang over here, we have the double Cello. This map is really dark. Bear with me as I try to view what mounts these things have. Rebounds and Auroras, as well as 2 blanket jammers on this one. Parallax, a 3rd Aurora on the bottom. The other one, a little bit different. We have a Spyglass instead. Bullseye on the top. Pavis, 3 Pavises, 4 Pavises, and 2 Auroras. We have a little bit of a different build here for these 2 Acellos. The reinforced bow definitely help with bow tanking. Acellos, when they're pointed nose on, have very, very well-angled armor and are able to resist incoming fire quite well. Flynn already losing 2 of the cringe cappers on the point to, I'm assuming, a rocket shuttle. Yep. So it looks like ANS does not secure a C point, but it looks like OSP will not either as the beam comes in from Flynn's beamstone. We had a trade on the point here. Reaver losing a couple other rocket shuttles as well on the other cap points here. I was too slow on the fleet analysis thing and didn't see them. Duke's 250 voxels in a very good position here, able to use the insane damage output of 250 RPF to absolutely obliterate that poor shuttle. And over here, it looks like it was the fighter craft, I think, that got the strike off. I believe these were full of... Yep, these were full of S1 offensives, I believe, is what did in this poor ship here. Although I wasn't watching, so I can't be sure. Although they do secure the D point and the E point. The Warden Navy, although losing 2 ships, do secure the cap points. What else does Reaver have to work with? Is their fleet just all rocket shuttles? Yep. Reaver's fleet is all rocket shuttles. You know, it does work sometimes. Looks like Hellbombs will be able to retake the E point here. Although, another rocket shuttle lying in wait here. This ship capping the point here is a cringe capper. It has no weapons, so if it gets engaged by that rocket shuttle, it cannot really do anything. Although, these voxels here are going to definitely wreak havoc on any light assets that OSP sends to the caps. And the last ship in Warden Navy, the Volley Goblin, is a, is this a... Wait, those are MLS3s, MLS2s. Interesting. We have a mixed missile salvo MLS liner here with Torps and S2s. I'm assuming the Torps are... I wonder if these are mixed salvos or if they're launched separately. That'll be very interesting to see what they end up doing with that. ANS does secure Zone E, or Cap E, with the cringe capper. We have bombers out over here, too. Animate Squadron launching... these are torpedo bombers out against something. Is this ship spotted? This ship is spotted. Will Black Bat spend a bunch of torpedoes on a rocket shuttle, or will... Yep, nope, there go the torps. It appeared the answer is yes. Black Bat will definitely launch torpedoes against this poor ship. Doesn't kill it. Structure breaks it immediately. This ship is... Oh, nope, never mind. Here come the other torpedoes. I mean, torpedoes against a shuttle, the torpedoes are going to win. Especially if the shuttle does not have PVs on it. Black Bat over here readying massive amounts of bomber strikes, as well as various Tanto squadrons. A squadron of 8 coil gun Tantos, squadron of 4. Are these the 20mm with the S1 missiles on them, it looks like. And I'm assuming these are all torpedo bombers, I believe. Yep. Lancer as well, being a coil gun squadron. It looks like Black Bat is readying combat air patrols for potential carriers, but unfortunately for Black Bat's strategy, OSP doesn't have any carriers. They do have some fighters, but those are supporting craft for other ships. Our first furball of the day today as Strife Squadron engaged this lone halberd of Courier Squadron. This halberd doesn't even have a gun on it. What does this thing have on it? Infrared. Okay, so it's a it's the Wake Elent halberd. These Tantos will absolutely obliterate this poor little halberd here. No guns to defend itself. Those bullets are going to start hitting eventually. Ruby Squadron joining in, though. I'm assuming accidentally, as this aircraft... It does have guns on it, but not really optimal for engaging a squadron of 4 Tantos. There goes the halberd, as this pike is... The pike is fast, though. It outspeeds the Tantos, so the Tantos are probably not going to be able to intercept, as the pike is going to outmaneuver them and get away. Flynn deploys another cap ship onto the sea point, and it looks like they're probably going to get it. It doesn't look like Warden Navy has anything here to really defend against that push. I believe Black Bat's sundial is in the area giving Hellbomb that information that Warden doesn't have anything in position. Yeah, we have multiple sundials out very far back into Warden Navy's backlines here from Black Bat. These sundials are going to be able to spot pretty much everything that OSP has. The double Ocellos are spotted, and a lot of their cap ships are already dead. I believe a lot of this is Black Bat's work, the bombers coming out here, but also, yeah, Duke with the 250 RPF making quick work of these poor light assets here. HE Frag, interesting. We have S2H AMMs. I'm assuming, yeah, they work. Look at that. Strife continuing to just venture further and further back into OSP's front line, chasing down Ruby Squadron. Very interesting. We have a squadron. We have a lot of Tantos incoming. We have 4 of the S1 bombers and 8 of the coil gun Tantos that we saw earlier. We also have this bomber squadron in the area here. I think this bomber squadron is just loitering, waiting for priority targets. But, yeah, Warden Navy doesn't really have much frontline for those bombers to go after. The only frontline they really have are these 2 Ocellos, which are pretty far back at the moment. Warden Navy opting to take 2 backline fleets, the missile fleet and the mass drivers. The mass drivers still not really facing the right direction. They haven't really been doing much at all this match, unfortunately. Damon Squadron taking a bunch of AMMs. Black Bat will probably want to withdraw those bombers back to the carriers just to ensure that they don't get killed or picked off. Squadron of 8 torpedo bombers here, Menace Squadron. Menacingly, if you will, moving over the top of the map here towards OSP's backline. I'm assuming they're perhaps going for these Ocellos here, as they've been spotted for quite a while. Hellbomb does manage to secure the C cap and also secures the D cap. Not sure when they did that. I'm assuming it was this ship that capped it and then withdrew when we weren't looking. It is currently a 4 cap in favor of Hellbombed. Not good for Warden Navy, as most of their cap fleet is destroyed here. The rest of their cap fleet is being hunted down by the bombers and also the those voxels. Yeah, Warden Navy's cap assets are hiding behind rocks to avoid getting picked off and can't really do anything to retake those points. ANS's front line has moved into position around the cap points and will be able to effectively deny them. Scrubbus is attempting to engage these two Acellos here, but is still out of range. The range of 450s is about 11 kilometers, and it looks like those Acellos are just out of range. But even at this range, 450 shells probably will not be landing many hits. It would appear that Hellbombed came out not pulling their punches today, as they have effectively dismantled the entirety of Warden Navy's cap fleet here. Only 3 ships left. One of them is locked by one of Flynn's hunter groups of Reigns up here, and it's also being dived on by a pair of torpedo bombers. I have a feeling this poor cap ship is not long for this world. Yep, those torpedoes were definitely going for the Acellos. We have a lot of these. That's a lot of torpedoes. Forward unto Dawn taking multiple hits. Able to jam out a couple of them. Fortunately, it would appear that Pillar of Autumn doesn't really take much damage in return, but now we have the experts getting in on the action, engaging the Acellos here, but also the mass drivers! Look at this, landing several hits on the underside, the very vulnerable underside of this Axford here. Still landing hits despite this ship having 2 radars and being orbit dodging. Perhaps those gun plotting centers were the way to go, as these mass drivers are insanely accurate. Already readying out that bottom gun, taking it out of action. The bulk mag is gone. This ship can no longer draw ammunition from that magazine. Unless that was changed in Test Branch. Oh, never mind. There's another magazine. That's why it's still operational. The CLs here are completely uncontested by anything that OSP has. The mass drivers opting to focus on the Axfords instead. How did these things roll so fast? Oh, they have a roll drive. Okay. For the player for the mass drivers, perhaps not microing their roll command on the mass driver line ships. They do manage to get several pretty damaging hits into the bottom of this this Axford here. That hurts. That magazine can no longer be repaired up to max, and that cannon taken out temporarily. Although track of these Axfords was lost, I believe. I believe it was one of these cap ships that was spotting them, but now the cap ships are being engaged by the voxels. Drain potentially reporting some lag on their end. Interesting. We'll have to talk to them later about that issue. Perhaps it's just the map. It should be worth noting that Reaver over here was having some problems getting into the match, although I believe that has been resolved. This cap ship here, the only thing you can really do is hide behind cover from these hunter-killer Rains. These Rains able to just pick off these poor cap ships that don't have the range to engage them. See, the mass drivers still idle in Warden Navy's backline. They are spotted now, likely by the Acellos here, as they are just rushing down the last cap point that Warden Navy has. Still have a couple salvos of torpedoes from these carriers in the back here. Although I have a feeling that Hellbomb's front line is going to have no problem picking off the... Uh-oh, that's a surrender. It looks like Mr. Dapper gets control of the Acellos from Drang. The match does go on. It is part of the rules. The match has go on, so the game will be played out with one player having a 6K. Looks like, though, OSP stepping onto Dagger Point here, although taking a lot of 450, or not 450, RPF rounds for their troubles. Will it be able to cap the point before it gets killed? Probably not, as Flynn has correctly switched to HE in the 120s. Those HE shells are probably going to knock out this thing's DC locker. If this DC locker goes down, the ship dies. Yep, there it goes. Decap remaining in Hellbomb's hands. The Voxels engaging the mass drivers. That's not good. Although they are getting fire support from the Acellos here, which are unfortunately also broadside to the 450 in these Axfords here. Broadside Acellos take quite a bit of damage from 450 HE. If these shells start hitting, these poor... Yeah, you can already see this thing. This thing was the one that took torpedoes earlier. Maybe it's not the best to look at, but that damage is going to start adding up pretty quickly here. The Voxels correctly deciding to battle tank to the incoming 450 for now, although if these mass drivers do open up, they're going to do quite a bit of damage to these now broadside Voxels. We will see if Duke is able to survive that. Although Black Bat with the torpedo bombers out on the mass drivers, it would appear that Black Bat has a little thing to say about their teammate getting mass drivered. Yeah, the mass driver's out. That is a lot of damage as Sunk Rhyme starts taking a lot of mass driver fire from these liners. Yeah, poor Voxel's getting caught out in the crossfire. It looks like Duke is opting to abandon Sunk Rhyme to withdraw Found Soap. But those torpedoes out. No terminals on those torpedoes, though, as the Pavisa is able to save one of the liners, but the other one taking massive damage. The magazine is redded and can no longer feed ammunition into those mass drivers. The other one, though, perfectly fine, continuing to put down fire into this this poor Voxel here, which has its magazine destroyed. Once again, one of the big changes in the carrier patch was that redded magazines will no longer be able to supply any ammunition to guns. They need to be healthy and working, just like any other module or compartment. Yeah, these 450 Axfords absolutely gunning this first Acello. CIC down, magazine down, its reactors are gone. It does have the restores to bring things back online, but under sustained fire from these Axfords, it's not going to have the opportunity to do that. The other one still remaining healthy, opting to start battle tanking the Axfords instead of the Voxels down here. It looks like Duke is going to probably lose this this Voxel here. It's low on restores. Its front section is just completely gone. The rest of the map developing very much in Hellbomb's favor. More torpedoes out on the last cap ship of Hybrid here. And it is mission killed. That is... yeah, no, thank you in chat. The missile liner launching a full salvo out against the already quite crippled Cello. It looks like those are all S2s, so it looks like it is not mixed salvos. Decoys on some of these S2s. God damn, very expensive S2s, but they're definitely going to get through. This Acello's point defenses are... Not Acello, the Voxels' point defenses are completely gone. Those missiles are going to absolutely just obliterate this thing. Yep, that is a dead Voxel reaction. The question is this strike too little too late for Warden Navy, or is this the turning point? I definitely have my opinion on that. Hellbomb is very much in the overwhelming advantage here. All of their front line, or at least most of their front line, is intact. These Axes are able to get 450 fire out on all of these exposed elements of Warden Navy. Warden Navy's cap fleet is completely gone. The Sicelo is completely gutted. The mass drivers are pretty heavily damaged, and the missile ship is pretty much the only intact element of their fleet, although it is starting to take fire from multiple directions as Flynn moves his Hunter-Killer reins up to engage it. Unfortunately for Warden Navy, I believe that the answer here was just not enough frontline. They just couldn't secure the objectives with any heavy assets and were completely at the mercy of Black Bat's bombers here as they just completely picked off every single useful asset that they had in terms of, like, their cap fleet. The Escalation now training 450 fire with one of these orbit-dodging experts, and you can see broadside at what range is that, like 6 kilometers? How this expert is able to just avoid most incoming fire coming out of this this Sicelo here. This is the power of triple radar drives. You can just do this at 6 kilometers and just not take losses or not take hits. Although these mass drivers have been insanely accurate this match. I have no idea what strings they pulled to get these mass drivers to work. But they are just hitting. Several more mass driver rounds going into this broadside, this Axford. I actually have no idea. Is it the gun plotting centers in that thing that's doing that? I really do not know. But unfortunately, I don't think the mass drivers are going to be enough to sway this match. Damon's squadron deploying, it looks like more torps out against some of these ships here. It doesn't look like they got missiles out, though, and they are empty on missiles. Returning to base. Is the missile ship going to do anything? Probably not. Its magazine is knocked out here by the incoming fire, and I believe that Warden Navy's last hope of pulling a victory here is unfortunately gone. Strubbis with the these 450 Axfords, insanely good at putting out damage, and with the triple radar tech, these things will not really take any return fire. Strubbis successfully determining that swapping to AP is the way to go against this this bow-on Sicelo here. Although this Sicelo is having to choose between which of the two Axfords to go bow onto, and is going to take incoming fire. Yeah, these Sicelos were also pushed pretty far back for the entirety of the match, completely unable to support the cap fleet on the cap points with point defense or supporting 450 fire. The Volley Goblin is attempting to repair things, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to be able to. It's caught out here in the open. We have bombers incoming for it. Yeah, let's watch Dragoon Squadron just completely remove this poor missile liner from the game. We'll turn off HUD. We'll have a nice cinematic view of this. You see the engagement in the background of the liners, or not the liners, the Acellos versus the Axfords. Is the Dragoon Squadron going high? Are they going for the Volley Goblin? Where are they going? Are they going for the Acello? Black Bat appears to be swapping targets in the middle of their strike, heading for the Acello instead of the missile dump ship. Very interesting. The drive on the Volley Goblin down. Oh, it's a small drive on this liner. So the drive goes down pretty quickly there. It does not have a lot of health and a very small hitbox. Dragoon Squadron definitely swapping target to this poor Acello up here, who is about to be removed from the match. The point defense on this poor thing completely inoperable as the magazine is down. And it is not going to be repaired in time for this to deal with this strike. 450 fire now going down on these mass driver line ships. They have managed to do a little bit of damage to these Axfords, but not anywhere near enough to take them out of the fight. Meanwhile, these Acellos are completely just obliterated. Black Bat going to high burn. Will we see some torpedo action? I've noticed that Black Bat's torpedoes do not have terminals. A very interesting decision here, as even like a couple Pavisas, as we saw earlier on those mass driver line ships, make it very difficult for these to get through. Although those will most certainly get through, as this poor Ocello is now mission killed. I guess it kind of already was before, but now it definitely isn't. These mass driver line ships with very limited damage control options, being backline speed or backline built, not really faring all that well. Missile strike on the voxel here that I completely missed. It looks like most of them missed. These were Star Age ARAD, and it looks like potentially they had chav out or counter jamming. Unsure of how those missed. It looks like there was one hit onto the front of the escort. But unfortunately for the missile liner's troubles, it is going to get gunned down here, as ANS just completely taking complete map control here. Hellbomb's definitely winning this. It looks like, yep, the points have added up, and that is a win for Team 1-800 Get Hellbombed. So, which brings the match total to 1-0